Okay, so we have a Hannibal deck for you, and this deck will get updated. Is just is like a sequence of rough drafts, and that's not to say, you know, it won't show something in the performance, but it's like we had to karate chop it into two. It's kind of interesting. So we'll eventually showcase what the deck is gonna look like, um, you know, differently. Okay, so you know what I'm finding interesting about OPO7? It really feels like OPO7 isn't necessarily a set that helps multiple decks or whatever. And I get how One Piece is. I get it. Basically, cards come out, they help the last deck, right? And what do you call it? Cards come out, they help like the last set a little bit, and then they have like usually generic events. You know, maybe there's a generic character or something, but overall, this OPO7, it seems like they were strongly focused on putting new decks into the meta. You know, that's what that's the vibe I'm getting. It's like, nah, we're gonna put a bunch of new decks in this meta, so that way, what do you call it? It could be more diverse. That's the vibe I got. Cause I was like, dag, nothing's. It seems like nothing really helps anything else. It's like I'm looking. It's like, yeah, what helps anything else? It's interesting, but the reason why I'm saying that is I feel like that's a bit of a good thing because those people who are really working on or trying to build a deck that, you know, whatever, for whatever reason wasn't competitive, they have another chance of getting their footing with a deck now, because for the most part the only thing that's happening, or not to say the only thing that's happening, but what feels like it's happening, is just new decks are being introduced into the meta. So that's the vibe I get. It's like, hey, new decks are being introduced into the meta, so just keep work. Like, it's like giving a kid a chance to finish their homework. That's kind of how I see it, I guess, as a deck builder. So we are swinging. Basically, the idea with this was like to try to have as much of a board presence. It was to ramp and have like, oh, we're gonna use the, what's that thing called? We didn't draw any, but it was like Sadi, ramp fast, get Sadis, get what's that guy, Sanji, you know, and just try to really create a board presence. Try to create a board presence for cheap. Because the way the meta has been, which I think it's calming down, is board removal, right? It's been the thing to talk about for a while. So it's like, okay, well, the only way to deal with the board removal is kind of like off board swarming, I guess, going wide, you know, as best as you can. So yeah, that's like the relative idea. And then basically, if you guys like what you see or sparks any interest, what we're going to showcase in future videos for Hannibal is splitting. Like, so it feels like the purple branch of Impulse need their own build, and it seems like the blue branch of Impulse need their own build. And then I think it's going to be way more effective. So I can't wait to show off the results, or, you know, collect the data to show off the results. They both have their own type of strengths, essentially. I think when it comes to the purple Impel and their ability to ramp on KO, I think you see how we can put pressure. We're establishing pressure with smaller bodies, and it does help us develop bigger bodies. And I think the basis for the blue Impel is already a bigger body basis. It's like, okay, I got the Ivankov for, you know, 7K. I got Inazuma. I got Croc. I got Luffy. So you ramp to that, and you start dropping those guys. So yeah, there's gonna be a split in the build, and we're gonna showcase like a more purple focused build and then a more blue focused build. And I do feel confident in the potential results of that. So we're going up against Rebecca, and that's actually a leader I've had an idea with. Okay, they decide to GG it, understandably so. You look at the hand, you look at this 1 life, you see that there's no blockers on the board, and we have 4 attacks available basically. But yeah, Rebecca's another deck I kind of want to get into. I think I have an interesting idea for Rebecca, but you never know until you play. So that's where I'm at when it comes to Rebecca. Doflamingo is a pretty interesting deck. Guy, he was like I think like early fan favorite in hopes to be a good deck. I think that's essentially what it was when it came to Doflamingo. Now you see, we got Kaido. This is all the same deck, mind you. As funny as it looks, all these mixed pieces. You know, like now you guys could just immediately better understand why we're gonna just split the difference here. You know, we got all these mixed pieces. It's like we had an idea for the deck. Hannibal, at the time, Hannibal felt like one of the best leaders to ramp. I learned that Yuta is also up there. Yeah, you sacrifice a card in hand, but in terms of speed and being consistent with that speed, it's like Hannibal and Yuta. So, yeah, the overall idea is to try to ramp early so we can just start developing our bigger bodies. And the split, I guess I could just tell you, right? It might spoil the other videos, but hey, you're there to see performance when you watch those videos. You see, being able to get Borsellino out so fast kind of guarantees. Now, in this matchup, it's like in our favor for that, right? It's in a Borsellino's favor, but it kind of guarantees a target. Like that was the key here. It's like, wait a minute, we can get to this number really fast and develop these type of characters. This character has built-in board removal. Okay, cool. The faster we get to this character, the faster we have not only a big body threat, but board removal. It's like it's going to be very consistent because of the curve. So it's like even right now, if we choose to, we can just play another Borsellino and take another character off the board. But granted, what I have to reiterate, in this particular matchup, that's just kind of how it's going to work. Because Doflamingo is all about developing those four drop characters. Now, there's a debate here, and I think I understand why we went with that decision. Sentomaru, if I'm getting the name right, still eats up 3 Dawn. So I think that's why we went with that decision. Let's just get rid of the Pacifista, forcing or encouraging the opponent to just use Sentomaru, and it also might stop them from developing something in hand, who knows. And we got Kaido bombs. Now we do have a domino on board, so that's a good thing. So if we start Kaido bombing, we can just bounce the domino and start ramping. But I would say there is a risk here. So maybe we should probably develop the Chihuahuas, start swarming and swinging, forcing the opponent to respect our board and feel the need to attack our board. And then we can Kaido drop and make sure we have like enough health, enough life, KO a character, swing. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. We're in sync, me and this player. So yeah, the deck performed interestingly at the end of the day. Now, they getting to put that Sentomaru to work. Now, it's of course it's great. You develop your big body, which is the Mihawk, and you get a free body out the deck. Meanwhile, you're also getting it's kind of funny. Bottom deck and Pacifista kind of didn't matter because of Sentomaru's ability, but like I feel it was for Dawn usage purposes. It's like to force the opponent to eat up their Dawn. So we're gonna save that, forcing them to dedicate more attacks. Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, I understand. We had to wait for the game to process Doflamingo's leader ability. So we going for both our blockers, and we can actually go for game here. That's the fun part. We just got to KO that blocker, 2 life, and 5 attacks. decisions. We're gonna go for the Mihawk. Well, in theory, we have enough to do something like that. But yeah, I think it's a little safer just to go for the game. So yeah, there you go. Go for it. Put the Dawn on the leader. Swing for 6K. And it's like they can't stop this. Okay, I think we can call the GG on that one. Here's a 10K swing. So close. That was dangerous. Could have been a sad story. That's the funny thing about One Piece. I think sometimes we just now get conditioned to go for a game versus, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's just, you gamble, right? It's like go for a game or go for the safe play that guarantees victory on the next turn. Because I'm sure if we attempted to clear board, then we probably would have been able to clear some of that board. Because based on the opponent's hand that last game, what they got in life were counters. Everything they got from life was counters. So essentially, without putting cards in their hand, they would have had less life. Less counter. I'm sorry. They would have had less counter, which means we probably would have took off a couple of characters off the board. And then we would just had to cross our fingers that they didn't have enough. But I think they probably would have at least had 2 characters on the board. I don't know. With all that down, they probably could have just got game. So yeah, it was probably safer just to go for game. Now that I think about it, right? Oh, I understand. You could play that, but then it's like, is it worth bouncing any of those characters? And he'll probably bounce the Pacifista, which low key does get it stuck in hand. Because like, yeah, there's no way he's gonna bounce the Sentomaro to have to. Oh, he did. I guess he feels safer keeping it in hand. I feel like the result is gonna be somewhat the same. Ooh, look at all them dominoes. So what is our Dawn count at? 9. So I want to say we're doing this to give our opponent something to attack, and we're also putting pressure. So that's a good thing. Then we quickly develop the Kaido. It's going to developing the Kaido this soon is going to make it difficult for the opponent to get it off the board. They're at 5. So unless they have Red Rock 3, yeah. Unless they had Red Rock, they wouldn't be able to get the Kaido off the board. But then they also have to dedicate that turn to the Red Rock, which would still have been effective because you look at our hand, we don't really have anything to counter with. But yeah, attacking with the Bon Clay, goodness, names. Attacking with Bon Clay, it's just gonna give him a target to attack to avoid losing any life, and then hopefully we can just start developing characters. 8K swing, straight to life. Okay, cool. We have, was that 6? So we actually have a nice number here. So we attack, apply some pressure. Let's copy that. I'm actually surprised we're not going for board. But I guess the opponent has too many cards in hand. I was like, there's no need. A 10K swing, there's no need to put Dawn on that. Like, what are we about to do? Here we go. Get the Jailer Beast. And turn, and let's ramp. Let's get that 2K counter back to our hand. There we go. Everything just running smooth. Like, and we're getting a lot of the purple cards, which is kind of hilarious about it. Believe it or not, there's like a set of blue and purple characters in this deck. So it's just kind of funny. So it's like, as of right now, y'all just seeing the purple showcase of this deck. But that's like how card games work sometimes. It's weird. You can just draw so interestingly. So we get hit with a pudding. And to be honest, I don't think the hand is that bad. Can it? I think it's worth. No. Is it worth letting go? They're not attacking with their blocker. Pudding just got played this turn. And they definitely got one more attack with their leader. So they'll probably just try to get rid of Bon Clay with their leader. Now, the fun part is I think we're in a very healthy ramp position here. So it's like I say that because Hell's Judgment should be a card we're going to use, is what I'm essentially saying. Okay. We lost 2 of our 2K counters. We get one of them back. That's kind of funny. And then we can actually just put in them back. That's hilarious. I want to say maybe the thought process here is to bounce a character back to their hand, and then it's gonna make it harder for their hand size to be low. But the thing about this is it also obviously we get to cycle. Okay, we choosing the blocker. Because I'm thinking to myself, it also is going to put us in a situation where it's like if we choose to attack, they could just like crap out their whole hand. That was a bit of a tough decision. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, yeah, let's do that. That should reduce his willingness to want to counter out. But he does. Makes sense. Scary decisions, right? But why did we put just one? So we want them to drop more cards? Is it? And they're doing it. Okay, so I think essentially they might be thinking of pudding. That's the only thing I could think of. Because why would you drop so many cards to protect that? Okay. I now understand. They already committed to that. Oh, another pudding play. This is bonkers. And this one was actually relatively decent for the fact that we had a defensive card. But you just gave us a Kaido and a Chihuahua. So essentially, it's like it didn't help you. Yeah, there we go. Let's get rid of a domino. I don't really feel like those puddings are gonna attack, and I'm surprised you didn't try to. Oh, duh! Moria. I had Moria in my head. Forgive me. I was surprised you didn't go for leader ability. No, Moria. I'm thinking of Moria. Oh, drop another Kaido bomb. Now the board is very threatening. Oh, so we're gonna push for game? I guess it kind of doesn't matter because with leader plus 2 puddings, and if we spread out the Dawn, that still might let them get game. So I get it. We are in a situation where we need to go for game. That's nuts. I hate that, right? Like, even though we win, but like that feeling when you got a bunch of cards in your hand and your opponent still chose to attack you and they get it and they get the game. It's a feeling. I tell you that right now. It really is a feeling. It feels unfair. It's like all these cards in my hand and I still didn't have the counter power. And just like last game, they pumped to 9K and that's it. They just needed 2K more. So all right, we're going up against Queen here. Man, I really, there's certain characters. I mentioned this before in a Queen matchup. But like, there's just certain characters that just feels weird that they're not relevant in the meta. It's just like, how is Queen not relevant in the meta? But I understand, like I said, you have to play at a deficit. We're bouncing that back? Okay then. Ooh, well, no, we can't get Bon Clay. Bon Clay's not impel down. Even though that's exactly the Bon Clay that they're taken from, the impel down Bon Clay. That one doesn't have impel down. Okay, they develop a Sanji. Why aren't we playing Perona? We could have played Perona like at the top 5. I guess we're just gonna keep using our search. I guess it doesn't matter. Let's see if we get some blue impulse because we already got Inazuma. So let's see if we get to the other half of this deck. I think Sanji's gonna get bounced. Yeah, but you already got 2 blockers, so you can't tell me Sanji's not the one getting bounced right now. I didn't realize something. This probably hurts Queen. Like, yeah, it seems like bouncing these cards back to hand hurt Queen. It's kind of interesting. Because you already know the name of the game is to get the hand size low, life low, hand low, and then just start big body dropping. But if this keeps happening, then essentially it makes it increasingly more difficult for them to reach the game state that they're looking for. That's interesting too. It's like one of the weakest mechanics in this game is bouncing, because they definitely put too many good on play effects. So bouncing was just not it. It's like, I don't want you playing this card again. They didn't benefit enough of it. This is ridiculous. Like, you know how much it hurts having to bounce Kuzan, 4-drop Kuzan? And like the game state isn't really changed enough for it to be a smart play, but it was like you couldn't let it attack, so you bounced it, and then they play it and drew again, then they play it and draw again, then they oh my god. You know, the spirits hurt, I say, during that type of time. So yeah, one of the weakest game mechanics is like right now being very effective against Queen. Look, they shouldn't even develop board. They should literally just start chucking everything at this point. Now, there's no way we're gonna take an attack at this point. Oh, that's right. They should have exactly what they want to put, like, oh, they're probably putting Sanji back. And then special summoning Sanji is gonna allow them to trim their hand as well. But wow, ain't this hilarious? Look how effective it is to bounce cards back to Queen's hand. It's just, he's not gonna get his game mechanic. This is crazy. Yeah, I can't help it. Sorry guys, it's like I've never seen bouncing this effective. It's just like hasn't happened in my field of vision yet. So I think we're taking this one. Unless we're being real greedy. Like, do you want to keep your hand that low? You can already trigger Inazuma. Oh wow, look at that. So we got 9. So we Inazuma. Then we'll have Dawn up for Hell's Judgment. And then we can just play that to be defensive, and then Sanji drop next turn. Or we can Sanji drop this turn. And we get a blocker. That's pretty nice. What are we doing here? See, I'm afraid that has to be Sanji. What I'm afraid of is what I see in hand looks too nice. So what I'm afraid of is that Luffy effect going off to bounce the Sanji back. That's what I'm afraid of. I would really want to see Inazuma on the board so you can start drawing. Yep, okay, there it goes. Hell's Judgment, and okay, I had a feeling. What? You didn't save it? Oh, Temptation? No, you don't need the Dawn, so it doesn't matter. Yo, that's crazy. Like, you didn't save it? Like, how do you, like, why? You could have literally kept a character on your board as of right now. You would have had a character on your board. And your hand size would have been thinner. Oh, wow, another Sanji. I ain't gonna lie, it's probably smarter to do the Inazuma and the Domino. Wow. Okay. What are we doing here? We're playing... Okay, we're playing fast and loose. If that's a term, right? That's how the term goes. 11, I ain't gonna lie, 11K is sickening. So this is the perfect opportunity for the queen player to kind of just chuck their whole hand, to be honest. And even if you do take those two, like we're gonna swing with a 9K. Okay. Develop a blocker. Yeah, you got too much cards in hand unless it's all bricks. That is an issue for queen. That's an actual issue for a queen. I'll be honest with you. So that is possible. They could have a bunch of bricks. Wow, we got a Kaido. If they don't go for game this turn, or if they can't turn this board around, we're winning. Because we still got Inazuma and a leader swing. So if they develop a blocker that we can pop. Oh, look at that. Okay. That ate up so much Dawn. So yeah, we're going for game. Ugh, the struggles. The struggles. So now we have a 9K and a 10K swing, and they're losing their blocker. This must hurt the feelings. Oh. That is smart. Okay. They went for board. We can't stop that. See. Okay. So now we probably comfortably got game. Because, you know, it looks like they're probably going to have a couple of bricks in their hand. 9K again? But look, see? 2 bricks. GG. I wouldn't have protected the Sanji. I would have let the Sanji go. Because we already know the Sadi can stop the queen if they wanted to keep putting pressure. And then if they attack, they can only attack live, giving me another card that could quite possibly help me. So that's what I would have let that Sanji go, because it was clear that we wasn't going to protect the Sanji. But hey, it didn't really matter. It's just little technical things going on. So let's see how we fare against Black, Yellow, Luffy. Black and yellow, black and yellow. I'm surprised. I haven't come across a YouTube video with them playing that song as they use Black, Yellow, Luffy. I really, like, we live in a day and age where things just get updated. So there's a part of me that would love to see, like, more leaders get erratas. So I would love to see Black, Yellow, Big Mom with, like, reduced Dawn cost. I don't know. I think it would be so effective. Like, just really help the leader just be played. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like she's 4 Dawn and discard a card. And we see that that's not effective enough. It's too overwhelming. It's an overbalance. So now it's like, oh, we finally get enough Ivankov. Goodness. And it's funny because last game we had the stage and we were digging for Impel cards. And it's like, now we finally see Ivankov. That's hilarious. Okay, so player realizing that Ivankov only summons the blue Impel Down characters. So what should have happened was a Sadi play. And then look. Oh man, I know frustration. I know there's some anger afoot right now. Because they could have just set up, drew into, then caught a double summon. It is what it is. It happens. It happens. And I don't understand. The funny thing about just being human is that you can only imagine how many times you read the effect. You can imagine how many times you read it correctly. And then you just rely on faulty memory. And your memory just does what makes sense a lot of times, right? This is why you can't trust human memory. It's like, this makes more sense, so this is probably what I remember. Dad, look at that hand size, man. Goodness. Luffy's hand looks like a glitch. That's crazy. But yeah, I can only imagine. Like, you know how many games we played where we saw somebody play 10-drop Kaido not realizing it doesn't work? Or how in the very beginning, seeing people play what's it called? Seeing people play Onigashima, thinking it's just ramps for purple in general. Like, just things are so different. It's kind of funny. So it looks like we're just going to develop Kaido just to develop Kaido. And if that's what we're going to do, yeah, there's no need to eat your Dawn. And there's nothing worth attacking, so. That top decking a pudding would be wonderful. And I don't understand. I guess the shenanigans can't occur until their life gets low enough. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay, there's the Sabo. So their hand is technically getting better right now. This is kind of scary because you know the Luffy's just going to go off soon. The Luffy is just going to go off soon. I can't remember how the top 5 got arranged. And it's like, what do? Do you just, you can't wait till you draw pudding, right? Especially since I don't think she was in the top 5. Because she was, I'm sure we would have put her there. You see? Oh my God. They're not even worried about a put in play. They just want to get their life to 0 so they can just start going off. I know this is tough decisions because you already know they're just going to take it, right? So it's like, is it even worth adding extra Dawn? And we go for it. Okay. Are we afraid of the Sabo block? Okay, so 7K swing, either they losing 2 cards or Sabo's blocking. But the shenanigans is about to go down. They are at 0 life, and it looks like we're not keeping up life to get a Chihuahua on board. It's like we decided to forget that one. Whoa, they just quit. Why? You know, I think that's just greed. Yeah, they didn't need to quit. Wait, did they? No, they block one, and they probably messed up their math. Okay, okay. So essentially, what it looks like is that there was just too many cards they did not want to get rid of. That's what it looked like. That's my assumption. There's probably too many cards they didn't want to get rid of. Either that or 7. They all have a bunch of 1K counters, and if that's the case, that means 3 and then the 10K swing. Maybe it was game. Who knows? Yeah, because you would need Like freaking oh yeah, no, it probably was game. That's insane. Wow, that's insane. I just thought about it. 5 cards just get you to 10, so you need 6. 2 cards get you to 7, so you need 3. So you needed 9 cards. No, they had a blocker. Why am I thinking that? Unless I'm still. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It happened. Moments passed. They gave us the game. You know what it probably is? This is my last guess because I don't feel like trying to like rewind it and figure it out. I'm low-key tempted. You know what? Hold on. Okay, I just checked. So yeah, they could have just blocked our what's it called? What's that person called? Okay, they could have countered out of what's that person called? Ivankov. Goodness, they could have countered out of Ivankov and then just blocked Kaido, and then they could have went straight to shenanigans. Literally, they had enough. They could have put the Sabos back in life, summoned Moria. It's like they just chose to not deal with it. The only thing I could think of is they probably felt burnt out because everything they summoned, to be honest, would be everything they summoned wouldn't be able to attack, and then they attack. They only got one attack, which is the leader swing, and then the counter attack was, we had actually a healthy amount of characters on board, so I understand. It was they foreshadowed the loss, so I just had to see. I just had to figure out why they quit. They only had like 7k counter power as well, so yeah, they would have lost a healthy amount of hand, regardless of who swing had, they had to defend against, and the cheapest one was going to be Ivankov. So all right, we're going up against Law, the boogeyman. Going up against Law, and we decide not to use that trigger, which I approve because Law shenanigans, they're gonna get another character on the board. There's no question. That's not how that deck works. They will be playing, and look, it's a kid. So they bottom deck, and 2 blockers, so that's pretty good. So if we do play, we are effectively hitting them where it hurts. So I'll go for it. Gravity Tiger right now, the 2 blockers, and then swing on Sachi Penguin makes them lose a card in hand. That's 3 resources. Yep, 3. Oh, look at that. We got 2 down up. We don't have a 2-drop. We had to use it for ramping. So let's see. Okay, they just let it go. That's actually smart. And unless they got rush characters, yeah, I was like, if they got rush characters, they're probably not safe. And oh yeah, our Dawn count should be where it needs to be. Okay, they attack for 5. I respect it. It's like, why not block, considering what that deck does? And look at that. So we can Kaido bomb them, which is perfect. So that's 2 5-drop kids they lost. Scrumdiddlyumptious. And they have to take this. Okay, wow, this is crazy. Like, and it's funny, right? Because who would think certain decks can just overpower something else, right? And it's all about what you draw. So we had Tiger, we had Kaido, we ramped well. So it is what it is. It's the name of card games. Sometimes you take a defeat from a deck that is like, how did this one beat me? Listen, sometimes it's not about the type of deck. It's just they drew right. I mean, then again, yeah, we got counter power. Yeah, we got too much counter power. They would have to, play a bunch of rush characters somehow. Yeah, the most they can probably get away with is 2, if they even have it. 2 rush characters, swing. Oh. They okay, I respect it. They got to take this Kaido off the board. Oh, okay. They're trying to see if they can save resources. That's smart. It's getting bottom decked anyway, so yeah, there's no point in countering out. And just like a card game, it seems like they may not have what they need in hand. And we got a Chihuahua. We got a Chihuahua. Now we're doing some math. If you want to make that Chihuahua play as strong as possible, I guess you just have to swing raw and hope for the best. Otherwise, you could just develop a blocker. Blocker would get bottom decked. Okay, we got a card out of hand. Okay, I respect that. We're going with offense. We're going with aggro. And then we play blocker. So now the beautiful thing is, as we play blocker, in order for them to, try to go for game, they need to target that blocker for the bottom deck. I would push Sogu King up top. Oh no, it doesn't matter if we choose to play him next turn. Temptation. Okay, I got you. But we could play the rush character anyway, so I respect it. Gain an extra Don, get 2 more next turn, so it's all good. Yeah, this law is in a really binding position. They still have to commit to bottom decking the blocker, so they can't escape that, right? But they are free to just summon things. They don't have to worry about playing anything that would lower the power of the blocker. They can just play and develop the board. This deck is, if you can outlast it, if you can make it run out of gas, oh my god, it's very hard for them to turn things around. Because Dawn is not an issue right now. It's just the cards in hand. See, they bottom deck, they get 2 Kid Killers. And they actually have a lovely amount of Dawn. Goodness. Kid Killer is going to go for a 7k swing. Okay, I respect it. So unless they got another rush character, and even if they do, see, they can't afford to. That just eats Don. So I wouldn't trigger that. Now the only thing they need is a Zoro, right? If this Kid Killer goes through, Zoro is literally the only card that could probably help them right now. And now it won't help them, even if they get a Zoro. It's it. We actually pull the game. Unless they play a blocker. But we got rush, so it actually doesn't matter. Give us a sub for this one. This gauntlet was pretty fun. G.